6:30. Let's do this.
It'll definitely lag a little bit. 30 seconds.
It's time for Celebration, and we were so excited to meet together this year.
But given the circumstances, we're taking Celebration online.
Yeah, there's still a ton of awesome things that happen and a lot of life change, and so we want to share that together.
So wherever you find yourself this evening, let's celebrate. Let me pray to get us started. Lord, we love you. We're thankful that you're still working and moving in our lives, even during this season. God, I pray that wherever we find ourselves this evening, that we can celebrate all the goodness that you've done and who you are, because we love you. So I pray. Amen.
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 Now on with the show.
Yeah.
Spun creation, His pride and adoration, treasures woven by His love. His careful hands, they hold us safe within His promise of calling and of destiny. Where heaven spun creation, His pride woven by His love. His careful hands, they hold us safe within His promise of calling and of destiny.
There wasn't a day that you weren't by my side. There wasn't a day that you let me fall. And in all of my life, your love has been true. With all of my life, I will worship you. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
This year, I witnessed God in my life by having Him give me the strength to come up and perform a lip sync in front of the whole church. It was a great experience, and just in chill out in general, I just felt God's presence in me. But usually, whenever I would leave chill out, I would kind of stray away from Him and go back to my normal life. And it didn't occur to me until one day in February where I kind of let my ignorance and my excitement get the best of me, and it ended up not only hurting me but also someone else in the process. And I knew that weekend that I just needed to change something, so I ran to God, and He came at me with His arms wide open, and it's really great to be able to do that. And He told me to go and tell one of my cell group leaders about what I was going through, and he was able to give me clarity on what I was going through and why, and it was incredible. It wouldn't be until this Wednesday in March where basically announced to my cell group that God has taken my life and made it His own. And it was really great being able to say that in front of everyone, and something that God has been telling me to do a lot that week. And the only problem was the next day was whenever everything went down due to the virus, and I kind of lost God until I was scrolling through some voicemails, and I heard Kyle's there, and it's talking to me how great it was, how I accepted him. So a couple days later, I get a phone call from Kyle, and it was one of the most uplifting phone calls I could have ever gotten. And one thing that God has been teaching me for these past 3 months is to never, that if I ever stray away from him, that he'll find a way to get me back to him, and I should continue to follow him, because only he knows my plans, and he has a plan for me, and I know he has a plan for everyone else.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn, and something that the Lord has really been teaching me this year is that his plans are so much greater and so much more fulfilling than anything that I could plan for myself. And I think this year I've just kind of gotten stuck in the mindset of, oh, well, if I want this thing, then I'm just going to go out and get it because it's something that I want. It'll temporarily fulfill me maybe. And I just think that it's a pride issue of thinking that I know what I want better than what God knows that I need. But also it's a trust issue of not trusting that he has my best interests at heart. He knows what he's doing. And so I have a verse. It is Romans 8:27 and 28. And it says, "And the Father who knows all hearts knows what the Spirit is saying. For the Spirit pleads for us believers in harmony with God's own will. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them." And this just helps me to remember that whenever I take a step back and I pray, God, let your will be done. I want what you want for me. You know what I need better than I could ever know. And that just really changes the way that you live your life and the way that you think about yourself and the Father. And something that I've really learned is that truly nothing can satisfy our hearts except for Jesus. So if we're not praying in accordance with his will, if we're just deciding to go out and do what we want, we're always going to be unsatisfied and just left in some sad places. And I just love knowing that the Lord, he knows what we need, and he's always faithful to provide that for us. And trusting in him is ultimately going to make our hearts happier than living by our own will. So, yeah.
What do you want to eat?
Chick-fil-A.
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 Close on Sunday.
My pleasure.
I'm Kelly Reed, and I'm in the Bentonville 12th grade girls cell group. I got to go to Ecuador this past spring break, and the Lord taught me the importance of intentionality. I now come into conversations with friends or strangers, not wanting to know the itty-bitty surface-level stuff, but instead I ask them deep questions. Ask how the state of their heart is and get to know them more and get to know their passions more. Because in this, it is so rich and rewarding to get to know someone and get to know the gifts that God has given them. Because not only does this make a firm foundation for friendship to grow, but it also allows you to see God's glory in creation and power and how he transforms and creates all of us in unique ways. I also have been learning the importance of not stepping into God's role. I dream a lot and I like dreaming for the future, but I learned that whenever I kind of plan it too much, that ends up in pain and brokenness. But now instead I seek the future with excitement because I know God is going to exceed my expectations because I can't plan anything as great as what He's already planned. Lastly, clarity in my why. I used to struggle with body image or doubting myself, even if I was right or knew the information. Just doubt and lies filling my head. But now I found a clear view of what I am and what I'm after. My motivations have changed because I have had a heart change. My motivations have changed because I have fixed my eyes on the Lord and I now know what I'm fighting for. I know the difference between a lie and truth. Now I can fight these lies, and it's a continuous fight, but now I can see the difference. But this is only because my perspective has changed. And if your perspective doesn't change, you're stuck in prison and you're not free. But when you fix your eyes on the Lord and change your perspective, you have a passport and you are free, and then you get to have a stamp from God for every new thing you learn and new exciting experience that He'll give you.
Hey guys, I'm Cooper from the Bentonville 12th grade guys cell group, and I've witnessed God work in my life this year, both through my awesome friends and family and just through His great power. And so right after fall retreat last year, I had a leg surgery done, and so I had 2 casts done on my legs, and I was put in a wheelchair for about a month. But before all this happened, I was a pretty independent and probably a little stubborn guy, so I wasn't really used to asking people for help when I needed it. And so, but through this surgery, I just realized that I needed help doing everyday tasks. And so through this, God taught me that it's okay to rely on your friends and family, to, especially your cell group, to get you through life's troubles and life's hardships. And yeah, another thing I've really witnessed God through is through reading and praying. And it's really cool because I've been able to see how God has healed people both physically and spiritually, including myself. And it's just really, really cool to see God in a new light like that this year.
Hey guys, this is Luke from the Bentonville 12th Cell. This year, guys, just provided me with new mentors and friends, and He's gifted me with incredible cell guys and lifelong friendships. And through that, He's taught me the value of the people around me and how to love and care for others. So right now, I'm just learning the importance of selflessness and caring for others, and I'm just trying to help people out every day and not be selfish and just try to follow the example Jesus gave me.
I'm Ethan from Bentonville, and something I feel like God has done through this year and through this season of pandemic is just keep my cell group close together. So even when we can't meet on Wednesday nights or meet other times throughout the week, we are still getting on Zoom, still being able to have good conversations, and I feel like I haven't really fallen out of touch with those guys because our relationship was so good beforehand.
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now. It's Corona time. It's Corona time.
Over the past year, I have witnessed God work in my life, ultimately by changing how I view my relationship with Him. I think in the past, that has been something where I go to church, I go to cell group and discipleship and all these things, and while I'm there, I'm getting a lot out of them, but kind of just aimlessly going through my weeks, not really focused on God at all throughout the week, except for when my devotionals might be due or when I need something, just shooting a little prayer up to God, asking Him to help me with whatever I needed at that moment. But I realized that I wanted something so much more out of that relationship because God has so much to give and I just wasn't allowing Him to give it to me. So in order to do that, I changed my intentionality with prayer, and first I just prayed for a thirst for God's word. And what I wanted that to look like is I just wanted to not have my devotionals as something that I felt like I had to get done, but more so something that I wanted to do. And the process was very slow, but over time I was able to see myself start to think about God more throughout the week, which then made me want to do those devotionals. And I still didn't really feel like I was getting much out of them just because I did want to do them and I was doing them, but I felt like I was still just going through the motions. So that looks like me changing my prayer from wanting to like thirst for God's word because I felt like I had that, to asking just to be overwhelmed by God's word. And I think for me that kind of looked like wanting more than just the surface level of understanding of what God was trying to teach me and of that relationship I did have with Him. So in praying that, I was just have been able to see, I think, just a deeper understanding of God. And I think it's so cool that through prayer I was able to see first how God had me in this spot where I didn't even really want to read my Bible and God was just kind of there, to, yeah, I want to read my Bible and I'm doing that, but I'm not understanding, to this place now where I want to understand and just go deeper than just knowing God and just know everything about Him and just not just know who He is, but know Him like personally. I think that's something really cool because God will always be there, but it's my choice whether I put the work in or not to be there with Him in that relationship. And me putting the work in has really just made my relationship that much stronger with the Lord, and God is just someone I turn to throughout the day now, not just when I need help, just throughout the day. And I just think it's so cool to see how God's worked through my life over the past year to do that.
I'm Jackson Leitner from the 11th grade guys, Fayetteville. So my freshman year, my cell group guys, they brought me to fall retreat. And that's like the first time I really wanted to like connect with God. And they've pushed me ever since, and pushed me to have a good relationship with Him, which has been awesome. And this year, we when it really came down to it, we just got a lot closer as a group, and we really got vulnerable, and our faith intensified. And you know, during these times, we always saw that God has a plan.
Same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. Our song on the radio, but it don't sound the same. When our friends talk about you, all it does is just tear me down.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Josh Byron. I'm a graduating senior at Harbor High School, and I would just like to take the time to share with you all what the Lord has been teaching me throughout the past year, and that is the presence and importance of an accountability partner. The Lord has really blessed me and provided me with a lot of great guys to help me with my walk with Jesus Christ. And I would just like to thank a few of them real quick. One of them is one of my good buddies, Nick Luttrell. Nick has been my buddy since kindergarten, and he has helped me and pushed me with my walk with Jesus Christ, and just has helped me to become the man I am today. And I would also like to thank Caleb Freeman. Caleb has discipled me since 9th grade, and he has poured so much into me, and he has helped my family and I so much, and I'm so thankful for him, and I can't thank him enough. So thank you, Caleb and Nick. The Lord has really also taught me that it is hard to go through your walk with Christ alone, and so I really realized that that having these accountability partners has really supported me and gave me just a stable beam to rest on. And so these guys have been people that I can text, call, and we used to meet every week. And so I can just share with them what is going on, what am I struggling with, and maybe even just talk about life and whether it's positive or negative. They're just always there to support me, and I'm so thankful for them. It is super important to have an accountability partner when you're walking with the Lord, because we all go through the same things, all the same struggles. And so when you can talk about those kind of things with someone else, it helps your confidence, and it really just lifts you up, and it just kind of like lets a burden off your chest. And so having an accountability partner has really helped me to become have a stronger relationship with the Lord. And I'm so thankful for guys like them to really push me and to really help me out.
A way that I've seen God in my life, and this has really been a way that I've seen him work my whole life, is through the relationships that he's placed in my life. The friendships that I have, especially the ones from cell group, have been growing stronger for years and years, and there's a few of those girls that I've just grown so close to. I've been able to celebrate with them, I've been able to cry with them and laugh with them, and we've just been able to have really deep conversations and honest conversations with biblical perspective, and that's been so good, just to be able to wrestle with those things with other people who are asking, the same kind of questions and are going through the same stage of life as me. And also just my leaders have been an incredible way of showing me what it looks like to pursue God every day. And that's definitely the common denominator between all of them, is that they want to know God more. And they lead with such just vulnerability and honesty, and show me that it's important to have grace for yourself and for others, and that is how God leads and how he sees us, and he's constantly giving us grace, giving us love. And also, just as I get to become a cell group leader next year, it's just really exciting for me to be able to see the just discipleship plan kind of come full circle as I get to start leading, and not only see that in my life, but see it as God's overall design is for there to be discipleship, and that is how the gospel is made known. And to see how that has been in my life and in my friends' lives and also my leaders' lives, and how God is using all of us to encourage one another, and that I'm just a part of God's big story. And so God has just shown me so much through the individuals he's placed in my life, because each one of them so uniquely shows me pieces of who God is and remind me that he is someone that who loves me unconditionally and is someone that wants to know me. And that has just been so good to have in my years of high school and in my ups and downs, and yeah, it's been a blessing.
Packing up the dreams God planted in the fertile soil of you. I can't believe the hopes he's granted. Mean the chapter in your life is through, but we'll keep you close as always. If only even seen you've gone, 'cause our hearts in big and small ways will keep the love that keeps us strong. you go. In the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. And with the faith and love God's given, springing from the hope we know, we will pray the joy you'll live in is the strength that now you show. But we'll keep you close as always, if only even seen you've gone. 'Cause our hearts in big and small ways will keep the love that keeps us strong. Yeah, yeah. And friends are friends forever if the Lord's the Lord of them. And a friend will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. And friends are friends forever if the Lord's the Lord of them. And a friend will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. To live as friends. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. No, a lifetime's not too long to live as friends.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you so much. We hope you have a great summer, and we can't wait for FSM next fall. We love you. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Your stash makes like the McDonald's arch.
That's fantastic.
It looks like a child's drawing of a bird.
That is
That's actually very accurate.
It's fine. All right, here we go.